Hello, I'm Alina, and welcome back to Everyday Studio. Today, I want to talk about a simple idea that can change your life more than motivation, more than talent, and maybe even more than confidence. It's this: if you wait too long to act on an idea, that idea starts to die. Not because it wasn't good, not because you weren't capable, but because the longer you wait, the weaker your connection to it becomes. And I know this not just as a concept, but from my own experience. There was a time when I had this idea of starting a podcast channel. At first, it was just a thought, a quiet one of those ideas that shows up and taps you on the shoulder. And like a lot of people, I could have let it sit there. I could have told myself I needed a perfect plan first. I could have said I needed better equipment, better skills, a better voice, a clearer niche, more confidence,
more time.
But somewhere along the way, I came across an idea on social media that really stayed with me. Take action before the idea dies. That line hit me hard because I realized how many good things in life don't disappear in one dramatic moment. They fade. They fade through hesitation, through overthinking, through endless preparation, through maybe later. So instead of waiting until I felt fully ready, I started not perfectly, not expertly, just honestly. And that's what I want to talk about today. How becoming a better version of yourself is often much less about making a perfect plan, and much more about learning to move while things are still imperfect. The longer the execution gap, the more likely action fades away. A lot of people think self-improvement begins when everything is finally in place. But in my experience, and probably in yours too, that's almost never how it works. You don't start when everything is clear. You start when something inside you says, if I don't do this now, I may never do it. That's how it felt for me with podcasting. I didn't begin with some perfect content system. I didn't have a polished brand. I didn't know exactly how to make the best thumbnails. I wasn't great at video editing. I was still figuring out voiceover. I was learning all of it while doing it. And honestly, that's what made the difference. Because once I started, I stopped living in imagination and entered reality. And reality teaches you faster than overthinking ever will. Once I had something real in front of me, I could improve it. I could look at a thumbnail and think, okay, this can be better. I could listen to my voiceover and think, I can improve my pacing. I could edit a video and realize next time I want cleaner transitions. I could compare where I began and where I am now and say, yes, I am making progress. That feeling matters, because progress creates energy. Progress creates belief. Progress creates joy. And one of the most underrated forms of happiness is the happiness of completion. Not fantasy, not potential. Completion. There is something deeply satisfying about being able to say, I made this. I finished this. I kept going. I'm better than I was before. That kind of happiness is different. It's grounded. It's earned. And it builds self-respect. I think one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck is not because they are lazy. It's because that they leave too much time between inspiration and execution. That gap is dangerous. When an idea first arrives, it has energy. It feels alive. You can feel the possibility in it. But if you do nothing, that energy begins to fade. Then doubt enters. Then distraction enters. Then other ideas enter. Then fear starts sounding intelligent. You begin telling yourself things like, I should learn more first. I'll do it when things calm down. I need a better setup. I need to feel more prepared. I want to do it properly. And sometimes those thoughts sound wise, but many times they are just hesitation dressed up as strategy. That was one of the most important lessons I learned from starting my own podcast channel. If I had waited until I felt completely ready, I probably still wouldn't have started. Because readiness is a moving target. When you don't know how to do something, your mind imagines that one day you will wake up fully equipped, fully confident, fully prepared. But that day usually doesn't come. What does come is growth through repetitions. I got better at thumbnails by making thumbnails. I got better at editing by editing. I got better at voiceover by recording, listening, adjusting, and recording again. That's how improvement actually works. Not in theory, in practice. And I think this is important for anyone listening who wants to become better, whether you want to start a channel, improve your health, learn a skill, build a side project, or simply become more disciplined. Please don't wait for a perfect beginning. A perfect beginning is one of the most convincing lies we tell ourselves. The truth is, most meaningful things in life begin in an unfinished state. Your first workout won't feel amazing. Your first video may not look great. Your first habit streak may break. Your first attempt at anything may be awkward, uneven, and unimpressive. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's real. And real is always more powerful than perfect imagination. Perfectionism, over-preparing, and waiting for the right emotional state can quietly become advanced forms of procrastination. One thing I've come to believe is that self-improvement becomes much easier when you stop asking, "What is the perfect plan?" and start asking, "What is the next doable step?" That question changes everything. Because the next doable step is not scary. It's not abstract. It's not overwhelming. It's not 10 miles away. It's near enough to be in. For me, the next doable step was not build an amazing podcast brand. It was simply start. Then after that, the next step was to improve one thing. Then one more. Then one more. A better thumbnail. A cleaner cut. A stronger voiceover. A more confident delivery. A more thoughtful structure. That's how progress compounds. You don't become better overnight. You become better by giving yourself enough unfinished reps to grow through. And that applies to almost everything. If you want to be healthier, don't plan an entire new life tonight. Walk for 10 minutes. If you want to read more, don't create a giant monthly challenge. Read 2 pages before bed. If you want to improve your focus, don't try to become a productivity machine tomorrow. Put your phone away for 20 minutes and do one task fully. If you want to create content, don't obsess over becoming impressive immediately. Make one honest piece and learn from it. The key is to make your starting point small enough that your excuses can't dominate it. Here's something else I noticed from my own journey. When I started taking action, I became happier, not because everything was suddenly easy, but because I could see evidence that I was moving. That matters so much. A lot of people are unhappy not only because they haven't reached their goals, but because deep down they feel they are abandoning themselves. They keep having ideas. They keep making promises. They keep saying soon, but they don't trust themselves to follow through. And self-trust is everything. When you do what you said you would do, even in small ways, you begin rebuilding your relationship with yourself. You start believing, I can count on me. I do move when something matters. I may not be perfect, but I am progressing. That's one of the best feelings in the world. And I've felt that through this podcast journey. Not because I have mastered everything. Not because every episode is flawless. But because I can genuinely say I kept going.
I learned.
I improved. I completed things. And in completing them, I became happier. Not in a loud way. In a deep way. A steady way. The kind of happiness that comes from seeing yourself grow with your own eyes. So if you're listening right now and you've been sitting on something, a project, a dream, a habit, a change you know you need to make, let me tell you this as honestly as I can. Start before you feel fully ready. Because action creates clarity. Action creates skill. Action creates momentum. Most people think clarity comes first. It doesn't. Clarity often comes after the first few messy attempts. You learn what works by doing. You learn what matters by doing. You learn what needs improvement by doing. That's how I learned with podcasting. I did not start with perfect knowledge. I started with willingness. And willingness is enough to begin. You don't need mastery to take the first step. You only need courage for one move. Then one more. Then one more. Let me make this practical. If you want to carry this message into your own life, here are a few simple principles. First, act within 24 hours. If something genuinely matters to you, take one step within the next day. Not a giant step, just one real step. If you want to start writing, open a document and write 100 words. If you want to start exercising, do one short workout today. If you want to build a channel, create your first outline or record your first rough version. If you want to improve your life, don't let your best intentions sit untouched for a week. Second, make the first step small. Small is not weak. Small is repeatable. Small is less frightening. Small invites consistency. Third, improve while moving. Don't demand excellence from the first attempt. Demand honesty. Demand effort. Demand continuation. Fourth, measure progress against your past self, not someone else's polished highlight reel. One of the easiest ways to kill momentum is to compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Instead, ask, am I clearer than before? Am I more skilled than before? Am I more consistent than before? Am I learning? If the answer is yes, then you are winning. And maybe that is what becoming a better self really is. Not transforming into some perfect, flawless, endlessly optimized version of yourself, but becoming someone who acts on what matters. Someone who learns in public or in private. Someone who doesn't need certainty to begin. Someone who gets a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little more confident through repetition. A better self is possible, not because someday life will become easy, not because fear will disappear, not because the perfect plan will finally arrive. A better self is possible because you can move now. You can begin now. You can improve now. You can build confidence by completing things. You can build happiness by honoring your own intentions. You can build a different future by taking one imperfect action today. And that action might look small from the outside, but sometimes a small action is the doorway to an entirely different life. My podcast started that way, not with certainty, not with perfection, but with action. And from there, I kept learning, thumbnail by thumbnail, edit by edit, voiceover by voiceover, episode by episode. And now, when I look back, what makes me proud is not that I started perfectly. It's that I started at all. So, if there's one thing I want to leave you with today, it's this. Don't let your idea die in your mind. If something matters to you, move toward it, while it still has life in it. Not perfectly, not dramatically, just truthfully. Take the next step. Learn as you go. Get better in motion. And allow yourself to feel proud not only of big success, but of completed effort. Because every time you finish something, every time you improve something, every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become a little stronger. And little by little, that stronger version of you stops being a dream. It becomes your life. Thank you so much for listening. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who has been overthinking their next step. And more importantly, before today ends, do one small thing that moves your life forward. Your better self is not waiting for perfection. Your better self is waiting for action. See you in the next episode.